In this video, we're going to talk about scrolling for West Coast swing.
What's up, gang? It's Brian B.
And Miss Megan.
And in this video, we're going to talk about scrolling or floating the anchor. What is it and how do we use it in West Coast swing? All right, gang, let's talk about scrolling. This video is by request. First, let's define a couple of quick things. Number one, if we're dancing a 6-count pattern, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we have to talk about this post that happens before we anchor step. And what happens on count 4 is we're setting a post that's telling our partner, if we're talking lead and follow, that that's where we're stopping and the anchor can stretch off of that, right? So if I use the 6-count pattern, 1, 2, 3, and 4, we've stopped this, we've stopped count 4, we've stopped count 4, and we stretch from our anchor here, right? So we know exactly how much room we have to move. In scrolling or floating the anchor, we would move the post 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we continue to float back. And we don't get to our connection until count 6 in this case, right? So that would be floating the anchor back or scrolling for Megan. So why would we call it scrolling, right? Is if we did this, let's scooch here so we have a little bit of room. If we went 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and 6, we could do this a couple times in a row, right? And I could have scrolled ourselves across the floor. It would also work in reverse, right? Where I could leave Megan there and move myself away, maybe because I wanted to line myself up for the camera for a shot. So any overall views before we talk about how we'd actually do this?
Scrolling or floating the anchor is really good to get you into a space of floor that's not as crowded.
From an easy way, right? Without having to complicate a pattern to get there.
Or without going, hold up, let's go.
Yep. So if we talk about things that we need to do to achieve this, right? We have to be very aware of where we are the count before the anchor. So in a 6-count pattern, 1, 2, 3, and 4, count 4 sets it. In an 8-count pattern, it'd be a count 6. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. That would set us. And then we would stay there unless we floated or scrolled, right? We might call this floating, right? And we would probably more often call this scrolling across the floor, right? So that's number one. Once that happens, all the rules still apply. What are the rules? Megan's going to go in the direction I send her until told otherwise, right? Let's look at that in the context of a sugar push. She comes towards me until I stop her, 3 and, right? I send her away on count 4. She keeps going until I stop her. And then we anchor and we're able to fill out whatever remaining space there is. Cool? Those are the rules. Let's take that and think about scrolling. Leaders, we're not going to stop on count 4. We're not going to create an end. We're going to go all the way till count 6 before we give her a stopping point. That will look like this. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, and boom, right? So scrolling becomes an advanced technique because we don't have counts 4, 5, and 6 to stop ourselves.
Or a very beginner one.
Or a very beginner one. You could say that that's very beginner, right? We have 1, 2, 3, and 4,
and then
5,
they come
and
forward
6.
too far.
There you go. So beginners, you are fabulous at scrolling. And sometimes we catch ourselves scrolling when we don't mean to as well.
Yeah, you know.
So play with that. I like to use the workspace of my basic patterns, right? So we can practice it in a sugar push where we scroll Miss Megan back. We can practice that where we scroll ourselves back, 1, 2, 3, and instead of sending her back, I leave my hands here. I might even give her a little downward feel to say stay put, and then I work myself away, right? We can do this in a whip. 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. That's another one where I just keep flying that away. Or I could do that and leave her in place, 3 and 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, and I can move myself away into something else. So there you go. By popular request, scrolling or floating the anchor. If we're talking about anchor steps and you want to work on your anchor step, we're going to link up a video here on how to effectively stretch your anchor in West Coast swing at the end of your scroll. Let's watch that next.